If you had one word to summarize the entire Christian life, what would you say? Would you say love? Would you say self-discipline? Would you say self-sacrifice, or maybe discipleship? What about freedom? Where would freedom fall on your list? Well, the Apostle Paul in Galatians 5:1, he says this: "It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm then, and do not let yourselves be burdened again by a yoke of slavery." Paul is speaking to the church at Galatia, and he's trying to basically map out this roadway of Christian freedom for them. And he's saying, look, there's a ditch you can fall into on either side of this thing. On the one hand, there's the ditch of legalism, and this is the ditch he's been warning against throughout the entire letter of Galatians. But at this point, he's been warning so hard against the dangers of legalism, we might think, well, he's in danger of veering into this other ditch, this ditch of license, which basically says you can live however you want. And let's be honest with ourselves, each of us tends to veer toward one of these ditches more than the other one. For some of us, we tend to veer toward legalism, toward rule following as like a way of life, as a worldview. For others of us, we tend to veer toward license, and we despise any kind of structure or laws, anything along those lines. But Paul tells us to stay on the road, avoid the ditches, stay on this road of Christian freedom. But what does this actually look like in our day-to-day existence, this path of Christian freedom? Well, on the one hand, it's freedom from something, but on the other hand, it's freedom for something. On the one hand, we're free from bondage to the law. We're free from the law ruling in our hearts and consciences as Lord, because we serve a new Lord, Jesus Christ. But then on the other hand, we are free for something. Paul says later on in his letter, do not use your freedom to indulge the flesh. Instead, use it to love and serve your neighbor. In his wonderful little book on the freedom of the Christian, Martin Luther puts it like this. He says, "A Christian is a perfectly free Lord of all, subject to none. A Christian is a perfectly dutiful servant of all, subject to all."